Well, joining me now is political commentator Stephanine Hamill back on the program. Stephanie, it's a terrible, grim day to be having a chat here, but glad to have you here in any case. I want to ask you your own personal reaction to the horrible news and events with Charlie Kirk. I know you'd met him a number of times and interviewed him when you were working at the Daily Caller. I just love some of your personal reflections on Charlie Kirk, the man, and what he was like to work with for our viewers.
Hi, James. It's great to see you. And yes, today is a very dark day. Not only are we remembering the attacks on September 11th, but also what happened to Charlie Kirk at the event in Utah. And you're right. I've known Charlie Kirk for, I don't know, since like 2015, 2014. We've collaborated with media segments over the years. I was also a Turning Point ambassador. I'd been to several of the Turning Point events, have even had the opportunity to speak on stage. And, you know, it's just so heartbreaking. My heart goes out to his family, his wife, his babies. I mean, I just can't even begin to imagine what they're going through. This is a tough time in our country. And Charlie Kirk was a once-in-a-generation leader, a voice, a very successful young man, inspirational. He was just amazing at bringing people together. Think about this movement that he started. The interview that you referenced for the Daily Caller, he told me about his first event where only 4 people showed up and they were just his friends. And if you'd been into any of the recent events or seen the videos, you'll see that there's thousands and thousands of students from across the country who attend these events. It's like a rock concert. He really impacted the conservative movement like no other. I mean, just bringing the youth forward, letting them speak their minds, letting them share their pro-America values, their family values, and to be unapologetic about it. It is truly disturbing that we live in a country where there are people who don't just disagree with conservatives, but they actually want to murder us. And we've seen this time and time again. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that there was an attack on our president, an attempt on his life, not once, but twice. So what happened to Charlie Kirk is representative of what some people want to do to the rest of us who speak out, who want to value our freedom of speech, who want to value what makes this country great. It really is just terribly tragic.
Where does the movement go from here now that we've lost Charlie and there's so much, attack on people who have moved into this camp, moved from the left to the right, particularly this young demographics, particularly young men who are now, they realize they didn't have to swallow the left-wing pill that they've been taught by the popular culture and in the schools. How do they carry this on now?
Yeah, something I've been thinking about, and as you guys referenced in one of the other segments with another guest, is that there are people who are celebrating this brutal assassination of Charlie Kirk, but what they don't realize is that they have unleashed something that they can't even imagine. We will not be silenced. Those in the conservative movement who have been speaking out, we are feeling more emboldened than ever, and we know that Charlie would want us to keep going forward. We're going to keep going to events. We're going to keep speaking out, and we're going to keep winning people over with our ideas. We don't need to resort to violence because our ideas are smart. It's common sense. They work. That's why we're bringing people to our side, and that's why there are so many people who are triggered by this and feel like, they can't win with their ideas, so they want to physically harm us. And as for where the movement goes, it's not going to end. I mean, it is a growing movement, and there are so many of us who will continue on and carry on.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think it will carry on. I think what Charlie did was give people the permission structure to say what they actually thought and not just, regurgitate what they've been told to say. But just a few other bits of news around that. I want to get your reaction on this, and I want to get your reaction on this before all of these horrible events, because there was a fascinating poll, and I think NBC did it, that revealed that Gen Z, the gender divide on politics is absolutely massive. But what was really interesting to me was about their life priorities. And it found that for Gen Z males, those who voted for Trump, those young guys said the most important thing for personal success for them would be to have kids, have families. Whereas Gen Z females who voted for Kamala Harris ranked that as the second least most important thing in their life. Is this the key to this whole birth rate fertility crisis, that the left, and particularly leftist young women, don't want to have kids anymore? What's going on there?
Yeah, I saw this poll, and of course, that's if you believe the polls. And I actually do believe this one. And this is a multi-layered issue that we could spend hours dissecting. There's so much that goes into this. I think a lot of young people feel like they can't afford marriage, that they can't afford to have families because it's tough just getting by yourself. I mean, and it's almost impossible for young people to buy their first home now if you look at the cost of living. And so I think that's one factor that goes into it. And I think another factor is that young people have been bombarded with propaganda, indoctrinated. We've been told that babies in the womb are disposable, that they are garbage, that it's not human life. We have heard from so many people that family doesn't matter. And I just can't think of anything more important than family. As a mother of two, I get emotional thinking about just, it makes me sad how young people have been misguided and misled. It is amazing being a mother and to be a wife. There's nothing more important than that. And that is also a shared value that Charlie Kirk spoke about, that there was nothing more important than family. And I'm glad that he got to experience that.
Yeah, Stephanie, thank you so much for your time and for your reflections tonight. Really appreciate it. We'll have you back again, hopefully under happier circumstances. Thank you so much.